She got the promotion. He trained her for it. 3 months later, she was his boss, and 6 months after that, he was gone. Not laid off, pushed out, quietly, politely, and without a single email that could ever be traced back to her. Nobody in that office thought she was ruthless. They thought she was likable. That's the part nobody tells you about power. The people who win it rarely look like they're playing a game at all. And the ones who lose it, the loyal ones, the hardworking ones, the ones who just want to do good work, they lose it to rules they didn't even know existed. There are 48 of those laws. Today, we're breaking down the ones that are quietly running your office right now. And by the end of this video, you'll never walk into a meeting the same way again. When navigating corporate hierarchy, your manager's fragile ego is often the single greatest threat to your career progression. The first rule of office politics is deceptively simple. Never let your superior feel outmatched, outsmarted, or outshined by your talents. In a modern workplace, ambitious employees often make the fatal mistake of running circles around their boss during meetings, presenting flawless solutions directly to senior leadership, or commanding the room with superior charisma. While you might expect this brilliance to earn you a promotion, it frequently triggers intense insecurity in your manager. Rather than rewarding you, a threatened boss will subtly undermine your credibility, withhold key assignments, or reassign you under the guise of organizational realignment. To turn this dynamic into raw political leverage, you must master the art of discreet flattery and strategic humility. Frame your best innovations as mere extensions of your manager's original vision. When pitching a high-impact initiative, open with phrases like building on your insights from last quarter, giving your boss the public credit while retaining operational control of the execution. Seek their advice on minor, harmless challenges to validate their sense of authority and expertise, as leaders love feeling like mentors. By making your manager look exceptionally capable in front of executives, you position yourself as their most prized and indispensable asset, quietly riding their rise to power. The critical exception to this law lies in reading the room when leadership changes. If your manager is a falling star whose incompetence has already alienated upper management, continuing to shield them will sink your career alongside theirs. In those rare moments when a superior is clearly on their way out, you can strategically drop the mask, outshining them at key high-visibility moments to position yourself as the natural successor. Until that vulnerability is absolute, however, keep your brilliance veiled and let your boss shine as the center of the room. In corporate environments, relying heavily on work friends is a severe liability disguised as comfort. When you champion or promote a close colleague, you introduce an unpredictable emotional dynamic into a professional space. Friends often suppress critical feedback to avoid conflict, or secretly harbor resentment over feeling indebted to your favor, because they feel entitled to your leniency. Enforcing accountability becomes nearly impossible, leading to slacking or eventual betrayal. True competency and transactional alignment must drive your professional alliances, not personal affection. Conversely, co-opting a workplace rival is one of the most powerful moves in office politics. When you extend an olive branch by inviting a known opponent onto a high-visibility project, their drive to prove worthy of the opportunity creates intense loyalty and effort. Unlike friendships clouded by unspoken jealousy, strategic partnerships with rivals are built on transparent self-interest. You both understand the stakes, eliminating personal drama and ensuring disciplined, goal-oriented execution. A co-opted opponent will work twice as hard as a friend, simply to demonstrate their value. Furthermore, having active rivals in the office prevents complacency and sharpens your political reflexes. A formidable opponent forces you to keep your performance flawless and your strategy airtight. When navigating high-stakes corporate shifts, anchor your strategy in clear, self-interested alliances rather than emotional bonds. If a project fails, a close working associate can sometimes serve as a convenient buffer to absorb the fallout. But using true friends for core operations is a fatal miscalculation. Keep your personal relationships separate. Leverage your enemies to consolidate power, and let professional utility dictate who earns a seat at your table. In a corporate environment, total transparency is professional suicide. When colleagues and rivals know your exact ambitions, whether it's a specific VP promotion, budget expansion, or taking over an adjacent department, they gain the lead time required to undermine your efforts, lobby against you, or block your path. To navigate office politics successfully, you must master the art of misdirection using decoy goals and psychological smokescreens. Start by publicly expressing enthusiasm for projects or lateral moves you care nothing about. When competitive peers waste their political capital trying to gatekeep those harmless distractions, your real strategic objectives remain completely unguarded. Complement these red herrings by cultivating a bland, ultra-conventional corporate persona. The most effective political players rarely look like schemers. They present themselves as unthreatening, reliable team players who adhere strictly to company norms, use standard corporate jargon, and maintain an unreadable, pleasant demeanor. People naturally trust predictable behavior and rarely look beneath a dull, compliant exterior. By masking your sharpest moves behind boring, everyday professionalism, and occasionally feigning deep passion for minor company initiatives, you lull your rivals into a false sense of security. By the time you finally make your move, whether securing a quiet transfer of budget or presenting a pre-approved proposal directly to executive leadership, the transition is already complete and impossible to oppose. Keep your true motivations veiled, let others chase your decoys, and allow your actual power plays to announce themselves only after the victory is secured. In the modern corporate arena, over-explaining is a fatal habit born of insecurity. When you flood meetings with endless justifications, detailed disclaimers, or excessive commentary, you project a lack of confidence and invite unnecessary scrutiny. The more you speak, the higher the probability that you will blurt out a costly mistake, reveal a strategic weakness, or offend a key stakeholder with an offhand remark. In executive settings, non-stop chatter is often associated with lower-level panic, whereas true authority is signaled through brevity and composure. Controlling your speech immediately elevates your perceived status, transforming even simple contributions into weighty, deliberate declarations that command attention. Silence is also one of the most effective tools for gathering workplace intelligence and asserting dominance. When you respond to a complex question or a tense objection with a brief, measured answer followed by complete silence, human nature compels others to fill the uncomfortable void. Colleagues, vendors, and even superiors will frantically talk to break the tension, inadvertently revealing their true motives, hidden anxieties, budget flexibilities, or political vulnerabilities. This provides valuable workplace intelligence. In high-stakes negotiations, whether pitching a strategic initiative or discussing executive compensation, holding your tongue forces the other party to negotiate against themselves, or concede ground simply to resolve the psychological pressure you have created. The key is to make every word carry calculated weight, leaving colleagues to ponder and overanalyze your true positions. This strategic use of speech ensures your contributions are seen as significant and impactful. However, when silence risks making you appear evasive or uncooperative to high-strung bosses, you can invert this strategy by adopting a talkative, overly friendly persona. This adaptability is crucial for navigating complex corporate dynamics. By drowning a conversation in harmless operational details, surface-level excitement, and standard corporate babble, you create a verbal smokescreen that hides your real motives just as effectively as total silence. Whether you choose sphinx-like restraint or deliberate verbosity, the ultimate goal remains the same. Never give away your leverage for free. Master these techniques to maintain your strategic advantage. In the corporate realm, your reputation is the invisible lens through which every action, success, and mistake is filtered. Long before you step into a boardroom or join a cross-functional initiative, your reputation precedes you, dictating whether leadership views you as indispensable or disposable. The secret to mastering this law in office politics is to anchor your image around one singular, unassailable trait: whether that is ruthless execution, calm crisis management, or strategic foresight. When you establish a clear professional identity, colleagues and executives automatically project competence onto everything you touch. A well-crafted reputation acts as a corporate shield. A minor mistake made by an employee known for hyper-efficiency is quickly dismissed as an isolated anomaly, while the exact same error committed by someone with a shaky reputation is cited as proof of incompetence. Guarding this asset requires constant vigilance against subtle sabotage and whispers. Corporate rivals rarely attack you head-on. Instead, they plant seeds of doubt in casual water-cooler conversations or post-mortem meetings. You must anticipate these micro-attacks and neutralize them swiftly, but never react with defensive anger, which only signals insecurity and guilt. Maintain a composed high road, letting your established track record speak for itself, while dismantling slander with quiet, objective facts. If your standing ever suffers an unexpected blow, immediately align yourself with high-integrity senior leaders or high-visibility projects to leverage their credibility and restore your brand. When dealing with hostile opponents, avoid direct mudslinging, which risks casting you as petty or unprofessional. Instead, use subtle questions during public updates or highlight operational missteps with apparent concern, allowing public opinion within the organization to dismantle their credibility for you. In office politics, there are no exceptions to this rule. Your reputation is your ultimate currency, and protecting it with absolute discipline is the foundation of long-term career power. In a corporate setting, doing exceptional work behind closed doors is a guaranteed route to irrelevance. If senior leadership does not know who you are, your achievements will inevitably be claimed by louder, more opportunistic colleagues. The reality of office politics is that perceived value often matters far more than actual effort. What remains unseen simply does not count. To build influence, you must intentionally draw the spotlight to your contributions. This does not mean being obnoxious or disruptive. Rather, it requires attaching your name to high-impact initiatives, volunteering for high-visibility executive presentations, and taking well-calculated risks in meetings that distinguish you from the risk-averse crowd. Beyond basic visibility, mastering this law requires cultivating an aura of strategic mystery. Most employees are an open book, constantly oversharing their daily frustrations, career ambitions, and internal doubts. By remaining slightly reserved, keeping your long-term plans veiled, and occasionally taking unexpected, non-traditional approaches to business challenges, you compel colleagues and leadership to constantly interpret your motive. This enigmatic presence commands respect and subtle caution, as rivals cannot easily predict your next political move or exploit your vulnerabilities. You become a compelling, magnetic figure in the organization whose input is eagerly anticipated and whose silence carries weight. However, courting attention requires delicate calibration to avoid backfiring into perceived desperation or arrogance. Craving the spotlight too overtly makes you look insecure. And worse, stealing attention directly from a vulnerable boss violates the fundamental rule of career survival. Your goal is to be conspicuous for your distinct value and sharp intellect, not for disruptive drama or empty self-promotion. Know when to command the room and when to quietly step back, allowing executive leadership to hold center stage when necessary. When executed with polish, courting attention ensures you are never overlooked for the promotions, resources, and influence you deserve. In corporate hierarchies, tireless effort alone rarely leads to executive advancement. What matters is the perception of high-level efficiency, coordination, and vision. Those who attempt to handle every dataset, proposal draft, and operational detail themselves quickly exhaust their energy and remain trapped in tactical, execution-level roles. Mastering office politics requires becoming the orchestrator rather than the laborer. You must learn to leverage the technical expertise, specialized skills, and grueling legwork of junior colleagues, cross-functional partners, or external consultant. When delivering the final output to executive leadership, present the consolidated results under your strategic direction. To senior leadership, you will appear as a prolific leader who consistently drives massive outcomes with remarkable speed, while those who perform the manual toil fade into the background. To execute this law effectively without breeding open mutiny, master the art of managerial synthesis and institutional borrowing. Assign demanding analytical tasks or deck preparations to ambitious subordinates, framing the workload as an opportunity for their professional growth. Once the heavy lifting is finished, refine the presentation, align it with high-level corporate goals, and take center stage during executive briefings. Furthermore, never waste energy building business models from scratch when you can exploit historical company data, past slide decks, and established industry frameworks. By standing on the shoulders of former experts and current team members, you absorb their intellectual labor and present it as your own strategic insight, conserving your time for higher-level political maneuvering. The critical nuance of this law lies in managing relations with superiors and sustaining your team's output. When presenting to executive leadership, always pass a comfortable share of the glory upward to your direct boss, ensuring you never inadvertently trigger their insecurity. Downward, offer just enough tactical praise to keep your team motivated, while ensuring upper management views you as the sole driver of the project's success. Share recognition selectively to maintain working relationships, but ensure the core narrative in the boardroom remains unchanged. The vision, execution, and victory belong to you. In corporate environments, rushing around to chase down approvals, begging for budget, or constantly reacting to other people's urgent priorities signals a fundamental lack of power. True influence belongs to those who control the pacing and force others to adapt to their terms. When you make colleagues, vendors, or competing managers come to you, you immediately seize the initiative and establish psychological dominance. Instead of expending your energy pursuing hesitant stakeholders, you offer irresistible bait, such as exclusive data insights, early access to executive-backed initiatives, or critical resource allocations. When colleagues realize they need what you control, they are forced to approach you, placing them on the defensive where they must operate on your schedule, in your territory, and under your ground rules. To execute this in office politics, master the art of deliberate scarcity and strategic baiting. Rather than pitching a new idea aggressively in an open forum, drop intriguing, incomplete hints about a breakthrough project during casual interactions, then wait for interested parties to request a formal briefing. When scheduling high-stakes negotiations or alignment calls, insist on hosting the meeting in your physical or virtual space. Being on home turf keeps you composed, while subtle unfamiliarity puts others off balance. Furthermore, when facing a political rival who is eager for a confrontation, refrain from engaging in immediate spats or reactionary email chains. Let them exhaust their energy drafting lengthy counterproposals and frantically lobbying stakeholders. By staying calm and withholding your response, you force them to overextend, make emotional errors, and ultimately come seeking a compromise on your terms. The primary exception to this law is when time is short and a rival is already severely weakened, in which case a swift, aggressive move prevents them from recovering. Otherwise, remember that true corporate authority never scrambles for attention or chases down reluctant allies. By controlling the bait and forcing others to seek you out, you retain complete leverage while maintaining an aura of effortless control. In corporate politics, engaging in heated meeting debates or multi-page email arguments is a losing proposition. Even if you logically prove your point, a verbal victory is almost always a Pyrrhic one. By publicly dismantling a colleague's logic or challenging a senior leader's intellect, you breed deep-seated resentment that far outlasts the meeting agenda. Words are inherently subjective and easily weaponized by insecure rivals. When you force people into a debate, they instinctively retreat into defensiveness, searching for reasons to reject your proposal simply to protect their pride. True influence avoids verbal combat entirely. It relies on quiet, irrefutable demonstration. To sway decision-makers, abandon the urge to persuade with long explanations and instead present tangible proof. Launch a low-profile pilot program, build a functioning prototype, or showcase hard performance data that speaks for itself. If risk-averse executives demand unnecessary additions out of sheer paranoia, accommodate their anxieties symbolically, giving them the superficial comfort they crave while keeping your core strategy untouched. By allowing stakeholders to directly experience your solution rather than forcing them to listen to a defense of it, you bypass their ego mechanisms entirely. Concrete results carry an authority that no slide deck or speech can match. The sole strategic exception to this law occurs when you need to cover a misstep or buy time under fire. When caught in an operational error or project delay, launching into a cloud of dense technical jargon, procedural nuances, and calm, overly detailed explanations can disorient aggressive critics and diffuse immediate pressure. Outside of strategic distraction, however, conserve your energy. Let your rivals exhaust their political capital in endless meeting room debates, while you quietly build undeniable proof through your actions. In the corporate ecosystem, emotional mindsets and career trajectories are highly contagious. Every organization has its infectors, chronically dissatisfied colleagues who view themselves as perpetual victims of executive bias, poor management, or relentless bad luck. While it is tempting to offer sympathy or play workplace therapist to a struggling peer, enmeshing yourself with the incurably bitter is career suicide. Their negativity silently erodes your focus, but the greater danger is perceptual. Executive leadership views alliances holistically. By associating with toxic cynics, career stagnators, or disgruntled malcontents, you suffer severe guilt by association. Their reputation for poor performance and bad attitudes quietly attaches to you, poisoning your personal brand and shuttering promotion opportunities before you even realize you have been contaminated. Protecting your career requires strict political quarantine and deliberate network curation. Politely disengage from informal venting sessions, lunch groups dominated by complainers, and back-channel gossip circles. Instead, actively align yourself with the fortunate, the high performers, buoyant strategists, and rising stars who consistently attract executive favor and high-impact projects. Just as bitterness spreads through osmosis, so do executive poise, political agility, and professional momentum. Surrounding yourself with respected, upwardly mobile colleagues elevates your reputation, sharpens your instincts, and positions you within the organization's inner circle of growth. This law admits no exceptions in corporate life. Pitying a career-bound victim will not rescue their standing, but it can easily destroy yours. In office politics, your internal network dictates your perceived value. Choose associations that elevate your status rather than pull you down into shared obscurity. In the modern corporate structure, true security lies in creating absolute dependency. To safeguard your career and command lasting leverage, executive leadership and key stakeholders must feel that replacing you would trigger operational chaos, delayed deliverables, or lost revenue. Rather than striving to be universally liked, focus on becoming strategically indispensable. When leadership relies on your specialized domain knowledge, proprietary technical skills, or critical client relationships, you gain immense political freedom. You acquire the leverage to negotiate resources, dictate terms, and weather organizational restructurings untouched, simply because the cost of losing you far exceeds the cost of accommodating you. To build this structural reliance, employ either intensive specialization or extensive integration. The intensive approach requires mastering a complex system, key account, or niche methodology, while retaining enough operational nuance that you remain its sole master. Never fully document every procedure or train a subordinate to do your job completely. Doing so hands management the keys to your replacement. Alternatively, the extensive strategy involves weaving yourself into multiple cross-functional initiatives, acting as the vital hub connecting disparate teams and senior leaders. By entrenching yourself across multiple departments, unraveling your role becomes too disruptive and risky for anyone to attempt. Crucially, ensure this dependence is rooted in structural necessity rather than fleeting personal affection. Corporate goodwill shifts rapidly, but operational necessity remains constant. Keep your superior's appetite for your results high without ever fully transferring your expertise to them. When executive leadership realizes their own success and standing depend directly on your continued presence, the power dynamic quietly shifts, turning those above you into the ultimate guardians of your position. Constant cynicism creates friction, while calculated vulnerability builds an impenetrable shield. A single act of selective honesty, such as publicly admitting a minor mistake, sharing early intelligence, or acknowledging a personal skill gap, instantly lowers the guard of suspicious peers and executives. By demonstrating candor in small, low-stakes situations, you establish a lasting reputation for integrity. Stakeholders instinctively generalize this impression, assuming that someone so transparent about minor flaws must be equally honest across all operations. Once this baseline of trust is established, your larger strategic moves, budget allocations, and political alliances operate virtually unscrutinized. Beyond verbal honesty, targeted generosity serves as the ultimate corporate Trojan horse. Offering unprompted assistance on a rival's tight deadline, sharing proprietary research, or solving an operational headache for a senior leader creates a powerful psychological debt. In office politics, this practice of giving before taking disarms even the most guarded colleagues. When stakeholders view you as a selfless collaborator, they fail to look for ulterior motives behind your favors. A timely, well-placed gesture creates a massive emotional blind spot, allowing you to secure key concessions, gain critical alignments, or maneuver around political obstacles without triggering defensive countermoves. However, selective generosity must be executed with flawless calibration, as transparently transactional favors invite immediate suspicion. If your motives appear overtly staged, or if you already carry a well-known reputation for political cunning, sudden warmth will be interpreted as a trap. In those instances, subtle candor about your own pragmatic incentives can actually prove far more disarming than performative altruism. Whether through strategic confessions or calculated favors, the underlying objective remains identical. Strip away their political armor, establish the terms of trust, and ensure that when you make your decisive move, no one sees it coming. In the corporate world, relying on past favors, personal loyalty, or appeals to mercy when seeking support is a fatal miscalculation. Reminding a peer or executive of what you did for them last quarter invokes subtle guilt and highlights your own current desperation, causing them to instinctively distance themselves. Corporate actors are perpetually consumed by their own performance metrics, departmental budgets, and career trajectories. When you ask for help, your past kindnesses carry zero weight against their immediate operational pressures. To secure resources, headcount, or executive sign-offs, you must bypass emotional nostalgia and frame every request around the single universal language of the office: explicit, unvarnished self-interest. Before pitching a collaboration or requesting assistance, analyze the target's personal and political incentives. Determine what keeps them up at night. Whether it is an aggressive OKR, a strained relationship with a senior VP, or a desire for executive exposure. Position your proposal not as a favor they are granting you, but as a turnkey solution to their existing problems. Show them how assisting you directly accelerates their own agenda, cuts their operational costs, or places their name on a high-visibility deliverable. When colleagues realize that helping you is simply the most efficient route to achieving their own ambitions, their resistance vanishes and compliance becomes automatic. The sole exception to raw transactional framing involves leaders who derive political power from appearing benevolent, noble, or mentorship-driven. For these people, an aggressive, purely transactional pitch can backfire by feeling crass. Instead, appeal to their desire for legacy and stature by asking for their guidance, sponsorship, or strategic blessing. Granting them the opportunity to play the wise mentor in front of senior leadership satisfies their self-interest just as effectively as financial or operational metrics. Whether through hard performance gains or ego gratification, ensuring the other party receives a tangible return on their alignment guarantees your success. In the corporate landscape, strategic intelligence is the ultimate currency. To navigate office politics effectively, you must cultivate the art of covert information gathering under the guise of warmth and collegiality. Informal settings such as happy hours, coffee breaks, or casual chat threads are where colleagues naturally drop their guards. Instead of dominating conversations or broadcasting your own agenda, adopt a listening stance. Ask probing, indirect questions that encourage peers, rivals, and subordinates to reveal their true motivations, hidden grievances, or upcoming project plans. By making others feel heard, you gain invaluable foresight into team dynamics and political shifts while appearing uniquely supportive and approachable. Mastering this law requires subtle tactics like strategic vulnerability and hypothetical testing. To draw out a guarded colleague, share a minor, harmless confession or frustration about your own workload. Human reciprocity will often compel them to reveal a genuine secret or strategic intention in return. Alternatively, float a controlled hypothetical scenario, such as an impending shift in executive priorities or a rumored departmental restructure, and observe who panics or rallies. Watching how colleagues react to artificial sparks reveals their underlying anxieties, hidden alliances, and career ambition. This actionable intelligence allows you to anticipate organizational pivots, sidestep landmines, and align with emerging initiatives long before official announcements are made. Finally, protect your own position by controlling the intelligence flowing back to your rivals. Just as you observe others, assume ambitious peers are constantly probing you. Shield your true motives behind polite, predictable chatter, and occasionally deploy controlled misdirection to test the loyalty of suspected gossips. By maintaining a friendly front while quietly tracking the board, you secure a decisive information advantage, ensuring you are always 2 moves ahead without ever appearing ruthless. In the corporate arena, leaving a defeated political rival with partial influence is a fatal mistake. When you emerge victorious in a major organizational power struggle, whether it is securing a contested promotion, winning a high-stakes budget duel, or surviving a targeted coup attempt, mercy is often mistaken for virtue. Allowing a compromised rival to retain key direct reports, strategic projects, or proximity to leadership leaves a smoldering ember in your backyard. A humiliated colleague will feign compliance while quietly biding their time, waiting for your first operational stumble or missed quarterly metric to strike back, undermine your authority, or build a counterfaction against you. Total victory in office politics does not require overt cruelty. It requires complete political neutralization. Once a rival's position is broken, you must systematically sever their operational levers. Push for their reassignment to a distant division, absorb their headcount and high-profile portfolio into your own org structure, and sever their direct visibility to executive leadership. Deprived of resources, platform, and key alliances, their ability to retaliate vanishes entirely. Complete banishment from your political sphere ensures that their inevitable resentment has no structural outlet, rendering them harmless while solidifying your absolute domain. The only caveat to aggressive neutralization is managing organizational optics and avoiding a cornered animal response. Backing a rival into absolute despair in a high-visibility forum can trigger corporate HR interventions or elicit sympathy from senior executives who view you as overly ruthless. In such cases, apply the law through guided departure, that is, offer them a face-saving lateral transfer out of your line of sight, or grant them full autonomy over an untenable project to let their own performance seal their exit. Whether through systematic reassignment or engineered departure, the strategic imperative remains unchanged. Strip your adversaries of influence so completely that they can never threaten your standing again. Constant availability degrades your perceived value. Being in every Slack channel, chiming into every email thread, and attending every voluntary committee meeting does not signal dedication. It signals low status and excessive bandwidth. When your input is ubiquitous, it becomes background noise. Executives and peers take your contributions for granted. To command authority and elevate your standing, you must harness the economic law of scarcity. Once you have built a baseline of competence and visibility, strategic absence forces colleagues to recognize your worth by confronting the operational friction that occurs when you are not in the room. Executing this law requires stepping back at moments of high demand rather than low visibility. Selective withdrawal creates a powerful psychological vacuum. Whether by stepping off non-essential working groups, limiting your airtime in executive briefings, or letting key processes run through delegates. When complex issues arise and your voice is missing, leadership instinctively feels your absence. Your brief, high-impact interventions will carry far more weight than daily overcommunication ever could. By starving the organization of your constant presence, you transform your involvement from an expected default into a prized resource. Crucially, scarcity only creates value if the product is already in high demand. Attempting to withdraw before you have firmly established your track record and strategic utility will not make you missed. It will render you forgotten. First, achieve undeniable presence by delivering key wins and making your expertise indispensable. Only after your political footprint is cemented should you initiate feints of withdrawal. By balancing strong, calculated appearances with periodic high-value disappearances, you maintain an aura of prestige and prevent the organizational familiarity that breeds contempt.